on. I think this holds the record for the most people I've ever started a show with during the intro. There's 9 people here already. So I know they're not here to see me. They're here to see my guest tonight. So I got turned on to this cool new little toy thing from Brian Schulman, Nancy Barrows, Tim Sohn, all those live stream legends. That I can do some pretty cool stuff with it, man. Like I can be Shrek. Where was that other dude I was playing with earlier? No, not you. I could be a whole ass bee, y'all, with a background and everything. What the heck is going on, man? Anyway, all right, that's enough. So hey Avery, who else we got here? Carl Sean Watkins. He's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks. Hey, my Gia. Hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you crashed the party. Who else is here? Gabrielle is here. All right, so I'm not going to waste any more time chasing comments because I'll squirrel out on them. I'm going to bring my guest, Tiffany Castagno, out. Hey, Tiffany.
Hey, y'all. Look at all these beautiful people.
I know it. Like showing up in force.
Such amazing people. Thanks
I
for
know
having me.
it. Kenny D is here. Gabrielle is here. Summer McAfee, Austin, Texas, ATX, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I'm from Texas. So is Sam Swirsky, even though he is not in Texas right now. I think he's in Utah. He lives in Utah now, but he's from Texas.
Good representation.
Yes, it would. Who has not changed their settings, but you're here? That's got to be Amanda Knight. Yep, that's who it is. Andrew Bennett says, hey, Tiffany. All right, awesome. We've already got 12 folks here. So what is good? So like I mentioned this in the comment or when I did my post the other day, this has literally been like a 9-month ordeal in the making. Tiffany, yeah, it's been like all kinds of miscommunications. You know the dreaded story where you accidentally hit reply all on the email and everybody gets it and it's a bad thing. So I did not hit reply all on the email. So Tiffany did not get it months ago when Brittany Linhart was on the show. Her and Brittany were supposed to be on at the same time. And so we were in an email chain rather than a DM chain because Tiffany was off and on LinkedIn doing stuff. She wasn't always on. So we were in an email chain. I started making plans to get it scheduled. Brittany's like, hell yeah, we're going to do it. And I'm like, Tiffany's not responding. And I kind of lost track. And then I was like, shit, I didn't reply all. Like it was just to Brittany. So I was like, crap. And so fast forward a couple months and I was like, hey, I still need to get you on the show. And she was like, yeah, whatever happened with that? And I was like, I don't know. So I went back and looked at the email chain and I was like, oh, that's my bad. But you're here now, live and in the flesh.
I am. Look at all these peeps.
I know it. Sultan is here.
Yes.
Enrique is here. Sultan's on Twitch.
I was just having some DMs with Sultan earlier.
Yeah, and he shows up like I got to do it just because he's Sultan with the standard veggies for everybody to see.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment. I know. Hey, Maria.
Enrique Maria. People.
So tell us, like, what's been going on? How you doing? How you been? What's up?
You know, I'm great. I am blessed. I am here. We're all here. We're in community. I just had a little thing on Twitter where I was like, let me press this record button because I feel like I want to talk about what real community is. So sometimes I get, a little feistier than others. I had a little moment, but I believe in community. And
heck yeah, I do too.
We're all busy, right? Like we're all busy, but we've nurtured these relationships and we continue to take them further. Lots of us have conversations offline. That's so important. But it's been busy. The business has been busy. So I've been a little bit more removed from LinkedIn and some of the other socials than I maybe want to be, but it's what we have to do. We all have lives outside of social media.
We do. And it's good to remember that too. Like I hang out with a lot of people from LinkedIn off the platform. I mean, it's not in real life, obviously, but on Zoom and Slack and other places.
That's real
But
life. I
it
count
is
it.
real life. Yeah, I do too. I count it as real life, but it's good to, hey, Holly, sorry, I'm not trying to squirrel out too bad on these. It's good to remember that social media is just social media, and it's okay to take a break from it for sure.
Absolutely. Amen. Times 100. I wish more people would understand that, and maybe we'll start something tonight. There's Jacob.
Yeah,
um
there's Jacob. Jamal is in the house.
oh, my diaper
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah,
Probably
your
people
diaper buddy.
if you ever hear him say that, if y'all are following him, you know what that means. But yeah, it's just thanks for checking in after orientation. It's something that we need to normalize in life, but also here on social media, there's too much pressure to just
Yeah,
and then you wonder why people chase these vanity metrics. Hence, I
yeah,
got on my soapbox on Twitter this morning and press record.
yes.
Sometimes I can't
It's
help
good to
myself.
get on your soapbox. I like it
Yes,
when people get on their soapbox.
I do it often.
I love it when Jamal Marshall gets on his soapbox. That dude will cut you without you even knowing you've been cut.
Snatch your wig.
Will snatch the wig right off of
I
you.
brushed mine up before we got on here. Even though it's my real hair.
Yeah, I
Remove
did
the
too.
edges. Hold your hat, Chris. Hold your
Yeah, I
hat.
know. Like there's nothing up there.
It's because
Oh,
Jamal snatched them balls.
so look, real quick. Everybody's talking about snacks since Jacob showed up. So look, we were talking about this beforehand. I went next door to get some Pringles to the gas station. Sour cream and onion, can't go wrong with them before the
Oh
show.
no.
So I could have something to snack on. In case somebody brought up some snacks, I'd have something. I saw these next to it. Rotisserie chicken Pringles, y'all.
Do they have barbecue sauce?
I don't know. We're fixing to find out. Like I haven't even tasted these. The seal's still on them. I hadn't tried them. So I figured I would do it live and in person. Yeah, I know you do, Jamal. You always come in peace, grace and peace.
He does.
Um, so I figured I'd try them live and let y'all know how they are. And I hope y'all know, like, I got these at the gas station. So these things were like $103 for this can right here.
Did you
But we're
check the
fixing.
expiration date?
Well, I don't know. It said new. I'm hoping they're really new. I better check the
I mean, what
expiration
is
date.
new is very
When
subjective.
was new? Yeah, it was new when 4 years ago. Let's see.
You got to be careful.
Oh my God, they are best by April 15th, 2022.
Are you messing with us?
No, I don't know if I can.
Oh,
All
well,
right. So y'all get ready to call 911. My address right now is 402 South Ragsdale, so Jacksonville, Texas. It's Pringles. What could go wrong, right?
let's do a crunch.
Yeah, they still have crunch. They're good. Those are actually really good.
Hmm. Do they actually taste like rotisserie chicken?
They taste more like the seasoning packet out of a chicken flavored ramen.
Hmm.
The little
Oh,
25
I'm
cent ramens.
familiar.
Yeah, I am too. Real familiar.
Thanks for sampling with us. Mm.
I know, right, Katie?
Somerset pizza. Sherry.
I
So
did
many.
not get gas with that, Carl. Man, the comments are popping tonight, y'all. I can't keep up.
Oh, they'll keep each other all entertained too. Like they'll
Yeah,
have
they will.
a whole show without us.
Yeah, they
That's why I
will.
love these peeps.
And that's why I love live streaming is you have to pay attention to the comments because somebody might be actually ask a question, but then
Yeah.
you look over here and you get sucked into the party that's happening. They don't care that you're here or not. They're just, yeah, crunch, crunch, man.
Oh gosh.
And I hope you don't see me die. All right, let's get down to the business now. We've messed around. Not that I ever have any business on the show. Sorry, y'all. I'm getting Pringles out of my teeth. They're all stuck in our teeth now. Um, so you work culture. Let's talk about work culture. This is something that is like very interesting to me. I never even heard about it until I got on LinkedIn. I've never really worked in a corporate setting. This is it's a corporation, but it's a small corporation in a small town, so it's not like corporate America. Never, and it's a small town in East Texas, so it's like Hicksville, USA. And never really heard of work culture till I got on LinkedIn and started reading. You and Britt and a few other people talking about it, and I was like, oh my god, that really makes a whole lot of sense. So it's just fascinated me since then. And one of the things that's always fascinated me and really got me pissed off was, in a good way, was whenever y'all would say stuff like, let me put this group message to sleep because it's going off. Hang on. Sorry.
They're still talking about your Pringles, I think.
Well,
So
everybody's talking. I mean, it's a,
I had a nice healthy dinner, so I'm good. I don't need any more snacks anyway. I need to back off the snacks
yeah,
right about now.
I had spaghetti. So it
Hmm.
wasn't just terrible. Hang on, it is not letting me do it on desktop for some reason. Sorry, y'all. If I don't, that thing's gonna keep popping up. Um, Pizza party is not a work culture, and cookouts are not a work culture. And at the risk of somebody that I work with seeing this, they are getting better 100%. But for a while, that was kind of their mentality was, we have a pizza party or we have a cookout on July 4th and all that kind of stuff. And it really got me to thinking, like, it just makes sense. You can't have the mentality anymore that, we don't owe you anything but a paycheck, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So just tell us about like all the cool stuff you're doing, your company, and I forgot what it was. We've talked about a lot of different things since you told me earlier what we were going to talk about.
There's a lot that goes into this.
There's a lot that goes
Keep
into.
me
Yeah.
busy.
So just now that I've done all the talking, take it away, Tiffany.
Where do I even begin? Yeah, I people sometimes it does trigger them when we talk about like that's why today I was like, yep, we're not talking about foosball and pizza. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I love that. I think that's
Hmm.
cool. I've also been subjected to being that person and watching how it doesn't connect for people and where if they want to
Hmm.
just like leave their desk because they don't feel like working, that doesn't mean that in 2 hours, maybe they leave for an hour or two when they come back, it doesn't mean that they're engaged. They're at the same level because maybe they're happy and their adrenaline went up for a little bit of time, but that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And as an HR person, I've been that person in the department where I'm like asking the question, where's this going? How are we connected and how is HR helping to move this forward? And it's been met with like silence or confusion or kind of stay over there. That's not for you to ask because you're not at that level. And so when I say that I get on my soapbox, I do often very loud and proud. Hey, Teresa girl. But because it doesn't do you any good to try to just be like, let's go out back and play, let's play bags, cornhole, whatever you call it.
Hmm.
Um, and not have it actually be tied into what keeps these people here. Why should they care? What is beyond the paycheck? And even when you look at that, I'm constantly challenging clients in my community to say, what do you offer? Part of what I do is employer branding. What are you offering that's different than your competitors? And what makes you want to stay? We
Hmm.
all get in business for a reason. Why should people stay with you? And what is that reason? What is the
Hmm.
compelling argument to why they want to stay with you or why they're
Hmm.
going to leave? And if you can't answer that, then it's time to get back to business. So help with that too. Um,
Right.
but it's
And I'll give
yeah.
my company props real quick. Let me interject this. They had the manager of each department go around to all of us today and find out our pain points, like literally want us to know any gripes or concerns, but also um, tell us what we need or what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to take it into account and then kind of rebuild and restructure how things are done here, which is huge. So I wanted to say that, just not really as a disclaimer, but to say that I said that about my company, but it's not a terrible company to work for. And they are moving forward, to creating a work culture. You know what I mean?
And that's, you hit on such an important point. That's the difference. The
Yes.
difference is maybe you don't have it all figured out. Who does? I don't either. I'm
Right. Right.
building as we speak. But at the same time, you have to be open to it. You have to be trying. You have to listen to your employees. And if you're not doing that, and if you just don't care, that's a different story.
Right.
Again, maybe you are doing some of those activities and they're great for team building, but
Hmm.
what's the long game, right? Like, we're not,
Right.
those are short-term things.
Hmm.
What's the long game? How do you bring people into the organization? How do you
Hmm.
keep them happy once they're there? Are you asking the right questions? Are you being punitive, or are you really looking at what's important to them
Hmm.
and to the organization long term? That's what matters at the end of the day. You can give me all the free pizza you want, but doesn't mean I'm staying here if you treat me like crap, right? Like,
Right.
that's a done deal.
Yeah, I know.
I might have this experience. I might know this from experience. I might.
Yeah, yeah, right. Exactly. Pizza don't pay the bills, yo. Um,
Doesn't.
it doesn't. So, how long have you been doing this?
14 years feels
Wow.
like 28,
Yeah.
and yet it feels like 5 sometimes.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely.
I can't believe it. I love
What?
it.
Yeah. What? So, how did you even get into it? Like, what? 14 years ago, how did? Of course, 14 years ago, I was sitting in prison. I didn't have an idea about work culture, but it seems like it's hot now. So, was it as hot of a thing back then?
That's a
Or was
good
it
question.
just something that you were kind of on the pioneering forefront of? Like,
Well, it's not fair for me to claim it, but I will say
I'm not going to claim it, but if you want to say it, then that's fine.
I I have been doing this for a while in terms of workplace culture from the
Hmm.
perspective of like, this is just what it is, right? Like, we're humans when we come to the workplace. It's not about just, all the little things. It's about,
Hmm.
how do you treat me at the end of the day? And I got into this because I wasn't getting that treatment, and because people weren't following up and there wasn't any empathy. And I'm like, something has to be different. Um, which was kind of groundbreaking back then, because
Yeah.
people, there's a reason my company is called Zephyr. It's an acronym for Cultivating the Evolution of Professional HR, because people think we sneak around hiding corners looking to turn people, or we just are there to hire people.
Hmm.
But we're so much more than that. And it's not about like pushing paper, rubber stamping stuff. Don't get me wrong. Some people are still stuck back there, but I'm trying to pull
Hmm.
them along. There are so many great things that HR does and can really help to influence if you let us,
Right.
if we are invited to. And so there's a lot of that stuff that goes on. But yeah, before that, I actually did legal billing and medical billing. So I did combined 13 years of that. So I've had like 2, 3 careers by now.
And
This
that's
one's my
okay.
favorite.
Yeah. So, and I don't know that I've ever been clear on this. You are like, this is your company though, right? Y'all do
Yes.
consulting for, okay. So y'all
Yep.
go in and do,
Consulting.
okay. I got
Yep.
you.
Yep. A lot of things. There are a few buckets that I love to give referrals for, and
Yeah.
that's recruitment, benefits, and payroll. So those things I do not manage in the company, but everything else is
Yeah.
pretty much.
Because who wants to do that?
We need folks who do that. I am not.
Yeah.
I've done recruitment, benefits, and payroll.
Hmm.
They're just not my jam, and there
Yeah.
are some ones, and I appreciate those partnerships too. So
Yeah. I mean, it's stuff that has to be done. To me, though, it would be more fulfilling and more fun. If, I mean, I'm sure there's a fight to it sometimes, but it would be more fulfilling and more fun to do the culture aspect of it, to go in there and analyze and see where everybody's at, see where the big wigs are at, and then come up with a plan or a strategy to revamp.
yes, I'm like, I wish you
Yeah.
could see partial body language on Zoom. I'm like over here, like HR nerding out. This is the stuff I love. Like I love root causing. So I like to, I'm not handy in other ways. So don't ask me to fix anything for you unless it is. If it's like, I don't know, any other thing like a car, don't ask me to garden. Green things don't live around me. Can't do it. I just can't. But I love to root cause work problems and look at where people are now and where they're trying to go and what I call the messy middle. Like, what's in there? Let's
Mhm.
uncover, let's figure it out, and let's make it better. So that I completely nerd out on that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, I'm not much of a, I don't know. I like kind of getting to the root of problems, and especially with people. I'm not really I don't always have the patience to deal with it once I get there, but
I mean, sometimes.
just like it's just fascinating to me that to go into a company or a small business or whatever and just dig around in their mess and bring some order out of the chaos.
Yes, organized
And then
chaos.
when you see it done and finished or see the plan starting to be implemented and all that, that's got to be like a dun dun dun, dun kind of moment.
Super cathartic. It's amazing. I yesterday actually I celebrated 1 year with one of my clients. Actually, no, what's today? Tomorrow, actually. Oh my gosh, yesterday was
It's
not
okay.
Monday.
No, I already
Today
know. It
it
just
was.
felt like a Monday on a Sunday. It's all good.
Yeah, but it's it's the holiday coming up and
Yeah.
that. So to
Yeah.
this morning
Everybody's already
celebrated the
a whole week away and everybody's already thinking about that long weekend.
it's true. Tomorrow's our 1 year anniversary, and this morning we celebrated all of the things that we've accomplished together in this 1 year. And we took a look ahead at what we have planned for next year. And it's pretty awesome because I like checklists. And so we had all these little check marks on the left side. And then I was like, ooh, we got a lot of stuff to do. This whole right side is the same size, only it's not finished. Some of it
Yeah.
started, but it's really rewarding when you see the impact and when people tell you the impact
Yeah.
as a person and as an employee, and as their work. It's really rewarding.
How long do you usually work with your clients, or does it just vary according to the mess that's there? Yeah.
Now let me throw
She's
a
before
disclaimer.
I could even get it
I
out of my mouth, she's going, "Yep, yep."
so short answer. It's usually no shorter than 3 months. It's usually 6 months, a year. I have one client who's been with me over 2 years since the beginning, since
Wow.
before actually Sephora was official. Now I say that, don't be thinking that I was doing illegal stuff. Everything
Right.
it was above board. I did have an LLC. I just didn't have other stuff in plan. So it's typically we're planning for long range because I'm about that band-aid life, meaning we're not going to just put a band-aid on it and
Mhm.
just not we're not going to be reactive if we can avoid it. So sometimes people just need a handbook, they need some support. Sometimes people need long-term stuff. Sometimes they may need help finding a software solution. You just never know.
Mhm.
And so that's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, I definitely it varies. But that being said, I love my clients. I don't perceive really any of them as a mess. They're all on their individual journeys, and yeah, it's
And I
fun.
said, I thought about it after I said it. Maybe it's not necessarily a mess because obviously somebody's reaching out to you knowing they want to do something, but maybe they just don't know how to get from A to B to C. That
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean it's just a crap show. It could just mean they don't know how to get there. You know what I mean? They need some outside perspective on it. Somebody who knows, dun, 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 somebody that's the superhero, you know?
They think of me that way. They do. But
Yeah.
that's common. People that's why we hire consultants and stuff because
Yeah.
don't know, but it's that not knowing what you don't know. Because I have had to release a couple like, oh, this is unhealthy. We're not doing this. I'm not, I'm not about the band-aid life, right? Like if you're there to ruin your folks, that does not work for me. It doesn't work for my brand. If you're not open to change and you think I'm just gonna swoop in and save the day and just be on the company side and you're not doing the right thing for your people, that does not make us a good match. And I have had to walk away from business because of that, because it doesn't align. Thankfully, that's only happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
They were pretty far apart when they did happen. I have the best clients and I'm really, really blessed. So,
And I would imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're not really on anyone's side. You're forgetting it's both because it's there
yeah,
for both of them. Because what's
yeah.
beneficial for one is going to be beneficial for the other. It's not an us versus them. So, do you ever have to break down that mentality, that us versus them mentality?
Yeah, always. One of the things that's becoming more trending is help us understand, because these are clients who are small to medium businesses. They don't have HR. They're not big enough to have HR. I do have one who is over 100, but usually they're kind of somewhere in between, or they're really really small, and they don't have the bandwidth or the budget, but they recognize that they need that support. So it's about meeting them where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
They don't often know. But so one of the things is like, help us understand and help our team understand what an HR consultant does. And so I go to a lot of their staff meetings as part of our kickoff, and just really helping the leadership and the employees understand. I'm not there to be, a fractional HR and just to be, I can help out
Right.
with some things if you have questions, but really it's to better the culture and to partner with them to move them forward. So it's a lot
Yeah.
of, I'm not here to spy on your manager or your employees. Like,
Right.
it's a team effort.
Right.
So
Right. You're not
that
you're
HR
not
don't
here to
like.
throw anybody under the bus.
Right.
It's to build something.
Yeah. But
And
honestly, we're going to have some hard conversations in between too, on both
yeah.
sides. It
Yeah.
happens.
Was it hard for you to start having those hard conversations, or have you really always been kind of a bulldog? You
I,
know what I mean? Like when it
I'm
gets into
very,
the nitty gritty.
this is, this Tiffany of today has been an evolution. So in 2008, 9, 10, listen, it's been an evolution. But the Tiffany of the past like decade, for sure. I have been like, this has been evolving, and like, yep, let's hit this conversation on. Before that, like the first 4 or 5 years, I was still finding my confidence. I
Hmm.
didn't know, and I got some bad advice from people who had been in HR, who were very good at their craft, but who maybe weren't moving with the times, and who were like, well, this employee needs to be fired. And I'm like, why? So I started asking a lot of questions, and I got really curious. And I always, oh, I bet you do, Teresa. Just trying to get to the root of what's really going on, because I recognize that people trusted me. They expected to, have me listen and be empathetic, even if the outcome wasn't going to be what they wanted. So it definitely was an evolution. But hey, Jennifer,
Hey, Jen.
it's so worth it. It's so worth it to just, you do more harm than good by not having the conversation. It's what I call
Yeah.
chucking elephants out of the room. Get them out.
Right.
They don't belong here. Get them
Let's
out.
just go ahead and address them and get it out the way.
Yes.
Right on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate that. Those are
So
like
many
some,
amazing people.
yeah, I know it. So maybe not the last time Jennifer showed up in the comments, but maybe the time before, which it's been a while. Because it's like 8:30 her time right now, so she's like
Yeah,
in
mine
mom.
too.
And yeah, oh, you're on the East Coast too. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, she's in mom mode usually by this time, and somehow I did something. I'm not real sure how I did it. I tried to unhighlight her comment and ended up blocking her from the restream chat.
Oh
Like she would
no.
still show up on LinkedIn, but it would not transpose over to restream.
Oh no.
Um, yeah,
I'm
where
sure
is
she
it?
knew it wasn't intentional.
Yes, she did. I was like, oh my God. So then I had to get in there. Hey, Miranda.
We're talking about cookies.
I know it.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you so much. That's so sweet.
yeah, trying to get kids to bed. Yeah. Sorry, I get scrolled out on the comments.
Work is never done. That's
Yeah.
not mom. Not mom. How do you say that? Look, clearly, I'm not a parent.
Yeah, I bet he is.
Yeah, no,
I have 4 dogs.
yeah.
Yeah, being blocked by Chris. I had to go in and like it took me about 30 minutes of digging around on Restream, like trying to figure
Don't
out like where do I go to unblock somebody from the Restream chat? Like I cannot have Jenny blocked from the Restream chat. She's my friend. Like not
Jenny on the block.
yeah, she's Jenny from the block. Yeah.
Jenny on the block. Oh,
Oh man. This is like crazy. There's a bunch of people here. The comments are going off. I love it.
these people are like, how many? What are there, like 40 people in here?
It shows 18 on LinkedIn,
It feels like 40.
and
They
then
brought
a,
the party.
and then another. There was another 3 or 4 on Twitch, and Julie was on YouTube. So there's probably 23 or 4 or 5 here, something like that.
Can we talk about the fact that Restream, you can pair it? When you
There.
told me that to different channels, I didn't
Mhm.
have time for all that. Stop prying me. But I think that is so cool.
It
I love
is. That is
that
what
it
made
does
me. Yeah, that is what made me switch from StreamYard. I was using StreamYard to Restream was the ability to pair. That way, like it's amazing, and there's no limit to it. Like you could, pair 4 or 5 of your channels if you had um, a personal Facebook, a business Facebook, a Facebook group, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn. Like you could have paired all of that stuff and been blasting this whole thing out
that.
to wherever
Wow.
you wanted to go to. Whenever I tell people about Restream, um, that's my selling point on it. I mean, I don't make. I do have a Restream affiliate link, but I'm like, think about it for a minute. Not only is your guest getting exposed to your network, but if they pair their channels, you're getting exposed to their network. So it's just like, yeah,
Hmm.
it's crazy.
Wow. It's just that was just interesting to
Yeah.
me.
It's a fairly new feature. I think they rolled it out last year. But I switched in December after I found out about it. I was like, yep, I need that in my life.
Good to know.
Hmm.
For someday when I
When you
call
go
you up
live,
and I do this LinkedIn live thing. How
yeah.
do I start? What do I press?
Yep. So Miranda was actually the first person I went through my live stream training with, um, where I teach people how to live stream. And she was
Nice.
pretty blown away with everything you could do in it. I'm
Hmm.
probably the only person on the face of the earth that calls her Miranda. Everybody else calls her Randy.
Okay, because I was like, is this the one that I saw? Is this the live stream that I saw where you were showing? I feel like I
Hmm.
was there live. And then I
Yep.
was like, Miranda. I'm trying to think. I think that was the one I watched for
Yeah.
2
Yeah. It is. Yeah, Jenny, I'm telling you, it is
hours.
way cool, man. And if you decide, look, if you decide you're going to switch over or want to think about switching over, I do have an affiliate link. Doesn't cost you anymore, and I make a few bucks on it. So hit
Look
me
at
up.
this community. Look at
Community, I love it, and this
demonstrating
is
it. We're role modeling.
role modeling it, man. And that's why I tell people, and not to turn this into the Chris show, but just like this is why I love live streaming. People in the comments, it's interactive. They're talking to us, we're talking to them, they're talking to each other,
Hmm.
and it's just awesome. It's an amazing community building tool.
Yeah, we're helping each other out. That's one of
That's
the things
it.
I love about these.
Yeah, it's I love them absolutely. I don't even remember what we were talking about as far as HR stuff goes.
There's so much.
There is so much, yeah. Like, and I never something you said earlier. Well, I'm glad, Miranda. Thank you. Um, I will, Jennifer. As soon as the show is over, I will, because I'll have to like close some stuff out to get to it. Um, Something you said earlier that I didn't think about, that HR is more than just like payroll and benefits and hiring and firing. You don't ever think about, or I never even thought about it until you said it, that HR is responsible for like the culture of the workplace. Because you don't, that's to me, like just in what little bit I've worked in corporate America in this small town USA, that's what our HR department does, is New hire paperwork, termination paperwork, payroll, benefits. They're also our accounting department. Like
Mhm.
it's a small business, so there's some bleed over there, you know.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, I'm a small business, so I am my own HR.
Right. Yeah.
Insurance onboarding right now. I'm
Right.
IT. Yeah, but it does. Thank you for bringing that up because it depends on the size of the organization. I've been in HR department of one, and I've had to do every single aspect of HR, including leadership plus the day to day. And it really depends on where you're at. But it becomes hard to straddle the line of strategy and the tactical piece. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where a lot of people get stuck and why, we kind of get this perception of, oh, well, that's just, the HR lady can just help me with my high nine. She'd get me set up for my benefits. She's who I see on day one. He or she, they, we're all inclusive here. Whoever
Right.
that person is helping me really do all that. And unfortunately, that puts us in a box. Or, like you said, people then think HR, I believe, some people don't believe this with me, but I believe that culture is owned by all, just like safety should be owned by all. It does
Mm-hmm.
start at the top because it needs to, because that's where the dollars hopefully disseminate from. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and where the initial buy-in has to start. But we all have to own that. I could single-handedly, as an employee, especially in a small business, destroy the culture because I'm an a-hole and everyone else is affected by that and no one at the top
Right.
is doing anything. And this happens, right? Like we see it all the time. I shouldn't have to leave my job because you've made it not psychologically safe for me. That's not right. But it happens. But
Right.
we all own that. We all own it. And please stop just shoving everything at HR. We're tired of it.
Right.
Seriously. We help us along the journey if you want us to take on these extra tasks or give us extra money. Ooh, a juicy question. Oh, Zoom layoffs. I that doesn't feel good to people. I know that during COVID, that might have, I think almost, and I'm not going to say this is everyone, but I think it gave people an excuse. I've been in those rooms. It is not comfortable, but it's more impactful to have that person and empathetic to have that person sitting across from you. You can separate a lot out, still, and you can figure out other ways to do this instead of just like over Zoom or a phone call. I've been fired once in my life and she did it over a phone call. That doesn't feel good. And
Mm-hmm.
to just leave people out there like that with no tools, resources, making no dignity, making them feel like you don't care about them is not. So I'm not a fan of Zoom layoffs. I do understand that they happen and have. I guess if you have to go to those levels, then at least leave that person with resources and dignity. But I I can't imagine doing that. Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
Mm-mm. I
You're already
can't
getting
even.
off, right? Like that's
Yeah,
important.
you're. Yeah, and doing it by Zoom or a phone call would even suck. But I mean, there's a lot of virtual working now too.
Mhm.
Um, people working remote and all that kind of stuff that don't even go into the office. Like,
Go
um,
rent a space for a day or something. You don't have a little bit of money. There are places literally that you can do for a day. I
right,
just again, I don't know all the situations, but I just feel like we got to get creative.
right.
That just, I don't want to sit in a little box next to you and you tell me I'm fired and then I'm just like sitting there like, um, it just feels inhumane.
Yep, where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You'd be surprised to the number of times that I say to people, when and have over the years, they're ready to let someone go. We've established that they're not the right fit for the organization. It happens for one reason or another. Exactly, Teresa. Right. That's what it is.
Yeah, don't
Um,
do that.
no, but that's not nice. Or in the middle of a restaurant and somebody's like crying, then you ask them why they're crying. Hello, that happened to me once. Please don't do
Yeah,
that. Doesn't feel
Yeah,
good.
yeah, please don't.
I'm crying in my pasta. That's not cool. Now I joke about it. It was not funny back then. It was
No, but like
that story,
that's a
but
you know what kind of move to do that. You know what I mean? Like that's awful.
yes, again, that's like that's the other part of the night. We'll talk about the rest of this. um, I just you can't do that. But like people will say, well, why do I have to give them this? Or we talk about, well, are you doing outplacement? Are you doing severance? Do what does that package look like in order to offboard them? And they're like, offboarding? What's that? And it's like, can you at least give them the number to unemployment? um People are processing a lot, and it's if you've never been on the other side of that table or that phone, that text, whatever, the Zoom, however people are doing it,
Hmm.
count yourself lucky, because although mine was a blessing too, people don't that's a lot to process in the moment, and if that's the first time that's ever occurred, you're not going to necessarily know what to do. That also can take up your workplace violence incidents, because you make somebody mad enough and you don't treat them with dignity, and that's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not a good look. So you
No,
just
it's not.
invite risk all around.
Um, Somehow or another, I'm not real sure how it happened. It didn't last very long. We were kind of in a transition phase up here in my department, and I had to let one person go. And that was a weird feeling because I'd never had to do that before. It's the one and only person I've ever had to let go. And it's not cool, even though she had it coming. She was not working. She was watching Netflix. We found out later she had filed for unemployment 2 days before we fired her. Just all the things that you would let a person go for. Um, it's still a weird feeling to have to do that. Like it just it didn't sit. Even though I hate to say she had it coming, like she had it coming, but she wasn't a fit, so she needed to go. It's a weird feeling to do.
Yeah, I always say, if you get to the point that whether or not there is merit to whatever happened and the reason you're letting someone go, which please have that be the case. I know there's employment at will and all that stuff. Bye,
Hi,
Jennifer.
Jen. Thanks for dropping in.
um, you definitely still have to have, again, it's back to the dignity, but you can't just,
Yes.
if you ever get to the point where that's like satisfactory to you to let
Yeah.
someone go. I've done this so many times over the last 14 years, and no matter what the situation, it's never been like, ah, gotcha, like, or I never feel good about it. You still, at the end of the day, are impacting that human and
Yeah.
somebody's livelihood in one way or
Yeah.
another. You don't know how deep that goes for folks.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just a weird dynamic. It's a weird, especially whenever you don't know you're the one that's going to have to do it until they're like, "Hey, you're the one that's got to do it." Oh, gee,
Yeah, or when
thanks.
it's like, oh, I don't agree with this. How about you do it? And then I'll
Yeah.
just, because I don't want my name attached to this. I had that
Right.
too. And I advocated for myself, like, no, I refuse. I don't support this and I want nothing to do with it. I wholeheartedly disagree. I will not be in that room because this isn't something that I agree with. Maybe I'm going to be next, but I have values and principles. Thankfully,
Right.
but that's, it's a different day. The future of work is not just like, let me sit at this desk and do whatever you tell me. So
Hmm.
employers have to be prepared for that.
Miranda brought up a good point. I never even thought about that. And a benefits offboarding service as well. She's a
Yeah.
financial advisor, so that's where her mind's going.
Ah.
Is because yeah, like what do you do with your 401k? Like you don't know. All of a sudden, like it's just there. You don't know anything.
Hmm. Even I've seen people retire and no one has prepared them. That's a huge transition. And they're like, so what do I do? There's so many questions. Like you can come up with an FAQ and figure that out. This is such a great point. That's why is we focus so much on bringing people into the organization keeping them there. But one way or the other, whether they're retiring, they quit, the organization has to make a decision to terminate them. They're going to exit at some point in the employee life cycle. So how are you prepared to do that? And what does that look like? We should be
Mm-hmm.
seeking feedback to see how we can improve. We should see what worked well for them and be providing them with information, especially people who
Mm-hmm.
have been there for, I mean, whether you've been there a week or 25 years, we still need to
Mm-hmm.
prepare them. But that's often a gap too. So shout out to Miranda because I agree with her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Eric, what do you mean? I'm not sure I quite understand. How tough are the conversations with letting people go?
It depends. There's
Yeah, I
been,
would imagine.
and some managers make it tougher either because they're trying to be too nice after we've prepped, or, and I'm not saying be mean to people, but I
Right.
literally I've had a couple like get into tears, and I'm like, oh, this is going south, let me rescue. So I recommend that we have people, that you have a witness, and kind of sometimes I can be the person to help you if you just are so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I've also had people just not treat people with dignity. And I've been like, oh, okay, let's course correct this because there is no reason to be doing this. Or just from a safety perspective, like, why are
Mhm.
you arguing with this employee at the door? Like, you've already made a decision that they're leaving. You're escalating a situation when you should be de-escalating it. And
Right.
um, just, I've seen every situation. Some of them are very tough because it's a very emotional thing. Some people will sit there, they'll have no affect, and later they'll call you up and they're calling you every name outside of your own. And other times,
Yeah.
people are crying or they're visibly angry in the moment or they're begging for their job back. Can we change it? A lot of things can happen, but that's why you have to be best prepared. But it's never
Hmm.
as smooth as they go. It still sucks. It's never a fun
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. All of that. Like, and that's one thing some people don't think about, or I guess they don't. I don't know. I didn't think about it at first. Is if you're going to do any kind of like, if I have to have any kind of conversation that could be with an employee, I always have somebody else in the room with me.
Hmm.
Um, Especially if it's going to be any kind of disciplinary action, or if I had to, if when I let that girl go, I had somebody else in the room with me. Um, for protection for you and for them.
Yeah,
Because in that way, what if I got pissed off about something and I wanted to go back and change the story and tell something about them? Then that person was there to witness everything. You know what I mean? Both
yeah,
sides.
yeah. I never advise doing a termination. I know that a lot
Mm,
of people do conversations. There's something to be said for like if you're having a one-on-one or a performance conversation, you probably
right.
don't need seven people in the room or even another person. But
Hmm.
there are times when even as HR, I've had to have somebody else in the room because that person just was like on the road. They were like out for HR. And so even as HR, I had to have another witness, but I'm not
Yeah.
for a bunch of
Yeah.
people in the room either.
No. 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 Mm-mm. Definitely not, because you don't want to. It's already an uncomfortable situation.
Right.
You've already compounded it if you have somebody else in the room. You really don't want to just make it worse and make it feel like you're attacking them. You got seven people sitting in there for one person to tell you we're letting you go for XYZ. Like, that's not cool.
No, not at all. But that's where, even if you're having a performance conversation that's difficult, you
Yeah.
document it. You have to document your processes. You give them resources. You have a strategy within the organization and different levels of how they can resolve conflict or raise their concerns and report their concerns appropriately. That's a lot of the stuff that I'm helping to build is infrastructure for people. It's really common that people are like, well, we probably should have another plan, or we say we have an open door, but how are people really moving through resolving conflict? And good on
Hmm.
these organizations for realizing that.
Yeah.
And I'm Miranda. Yes, yes, it is very difficult. We're very tired, our HR people right now. I especially, I have so much empathy for all my HR people. But also, when you're an HR person and you're running the business too, it's a lot. Entrepreneurs have a lot going on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's I've learned to not firefight into the day. I've learned to take some breaths and some time to myself and make sure that I have, even if it's 5 minutes and I'm staring out the window, or I want to go look at the rabbits or my beautiful rhododendrons out there, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever that looks like, I make sure that there's time for me in the day, because it's
Yeah.
you bounce from like an employee relations, maybe something's happening and now there's an investigation that has to start, to COVID-19, to hey, we're going to do our long range 1 year planning, to everything in between. Your brain is like, what just happened? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
every we bounce from so many different things, and it
Mm-hmm.
is emotionally draining. If you're taking, especially as an empath, it's a lot. You take a lot
Yeah,
in.
I was just fixing to say that I'm a very empathetic person, so
Yeah.
stuff like that happens, and it's like, oh, it just sucks it right out of me. Jeff Sievert had a great question.
Oh, he's a hoot. Um, would it be? Yes. Are you paying attention, Jeff? Only if there's 17,000 unread emails and little red bubbles of notification.
Yes. Yeah, don't do that.
I would probably just trigger them.
Jamal, it's good to see you, man.
Bye. Thank you.
I have
No.
Jamal. I have not set a date with Jamal, but I have Jamal on my list of people that I want to have on the show.
Oh, yay.
Cannot wait for that.
Got a good list coming up here, Carl
Yeah,
Sean. Yeah, well,
you're exactly right. Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot to support other people. So you have to make sure that you're pouring into yourself, whether that's
Yes.
your faith, exercise, a good playlist, people around you who surround you, community, like we talked about, good
Mm-hmm.
practices to make it easier, try to streamline your life. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot we could do. And still, let's face it, it's still tough.
Yeah, it is, and it's just, and I can imagine doing it from where from your perspective is you know, you don't go in and you're not the HR person there, you're the consultant there, and you're, for lack of a better word, playing both sides of the fence or advocating for both sides of the fence. I should say that's a better way to put it. So you're hearing it from both sides. It's not just like you're the consultant that the company brought in to fix all the employees. You're there to fix the employers too, wherever the need is. You know.
Yeah. That's been my whole career. It's been like that. We if you do it right, HR is a neutral body.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of discovery. There's just, fact finding, trying to like figure it all out.
Yeah.
It's not easy. So yeah. I hear you. I see you, HR folks. We're in this together.
Oh well, real quick because we're coming up close to the 1 hour mark here. No, so I did a thing next week for Memorial Day. So there will be no show next Monday night. Next Wednesday for Ending the Stigma, we have Ashley Woods. Her dad was locked up for a lot of her teenage years. And so she's going to just kind of come on and tell us her story and what it was like being a teenage girl with her dad locked up in Texas, as a matter of fact. Um, and how she still is able to call her dad her hero today and was there with him and stuck with him and all that good stuff. And y'all, I have some powerhouse people coming up next month. I've got Carl Sean Watkins on the 6th. I have Ann Small on the 13th. David Themish on the 27th. Yeah, next month's a bunch of really cool people. Bunch of really cool people. None of them are going to be as cool as Tiffany, though.
We're all we're
Yeah,
cool
no,
in
I'm just
different
kidding. We're
ways.
all cool in different ways. Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. You know, some people have asked me, like I did a pop up live not too long ago, and it was an Ask Me Anything. And somebody was like, I think it was Holly Campolongo. She said, favorite live stream guest. And I was like, oh my God, like, how do you choose? Like, it's just, there's so many great conversations, so many amazing conversations with so many amazing people um,
Mhm.
in so many different industries. You can't choose, you can't say one was better than the other.
Yeah. There's so much learning. I give
So
you
much learning.
so much credit for doing this. I don't know if I could do this consistently, but thank you for having me. I enjoy watching them from behind the scenes.
I always think, like, I always, my suggestion, and it's only from a personal perspective, my suggestion when I'm talking to people about streaming is don't schedule more than about 4 to 6 weeks out. Well, I never can do it because I'll run into cool people I want to schedule and I'll look up and I'm, scheduled 2 or 3 months out. And I think, you know what, when I get to the end of this, I'm not going to take any more people. I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. But it never fails. I'll run into somebody cool or I'll have a brainstorm or something. I'll be like, I want them on the show. Before I know it, I'm still another 2 or 3 months out. But I enjoy it. Like, I absolutely love it.
That's amazing. I say
It
the
is,
same thing on
Carl.
the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, look at he's got all he got
All
all
of them. Yeah. Going to be fire. Got the firemen, the fire trucks.
we got sparklers. We got the
Yeah.
sparklers. Oh, I'm gonna have to mark my calendar. I hope I'm around. I think I'm around.
Yeah. You're exactly right. You just don't name names. You don't do it. Even if there are some that stick out, you just don't do it on live interweb TV.
Well, thank you for being a good host. Not making me feel like the other child.
No, you're not. I'm just glad we finally got it on the calendar. I've been looking forward to it for a while, for
Is
like
it
nine
next
9 months.
week? I probably shouldn't have asked that out.
Whoops. I mean, yeah, it's next week.
I was just thinking about this though too. I can't wait though. Sometimes
Yeah.
I don't know what's coming up the next hour. Let's just keep ripping
Oh,
on.
I already know. I already know. Like, I'm constant. If it wasn't for Siri, I'm always saying, there she goes. I'm always saying, hey, Siri, remind me to do this or remind me to do that. If it wasn't for that and for my Google Calendar, like, I would be straight up just wandering through life lost.
It's good to have good tools.
It is good to have good tools. Um, Anybody have any last questions for Tiffany before we leave? Yeah, I'm booked all the way through the end of July, and I'm trying to remain real firm and to not bringing on any more new guests because I do want to take a couple weeks off in July just to kind of decompress a
Yeah,
little bit.
you should. You
Yeah,
should.
Tiffany, this has been amazing. It's been so cool to um, chat with you. We've never chatted before on Zoom or anything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, still lost with all the reminders. I know.
I'm actually a night owl. So we'll see. No, it's all good. Only the best for you.
Yeah.
I commit to something, I do it the right way.
Yes.
I'm planning on taking a break. I think Carl Sean is my last one. There might be one after. Like I'm after summer. It's going to be a busy summer, so I want to come back in fall for podcasts and all that stuff. Need a
Yeah.
break.
And like last summer, I don't know. Last summer, my views usually go down in the summer because people are, vacationing and family time and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, so I had said last year I probably wouldn't stream in the summer, but then I forgot about it when I started scheduling. So I was like, oh well,
Well,
whatever,
I'm rooting
it's
for
fine.
you.
Yeah,
It's all
thank you. It was so awesome to have you. Like I said, it's been 9 months or something like that in the making, and I was not disappointed at all. So this was
a
great.
pregnancy
And
term.
do what? Like a pregnancy term?
Pregnancy term. That's a lot to grapple with.
It is, right? You could have had a whole child in that time.
Seriously. Seriously. Wow.
Yeah,
But we made it. We made
we
it
did make
happen.
it. Yeah, and I really now that I mean, it would have been fun to have you and Britt on the show at the same time because y'all are
Yeah.
both. It would have just been a blast. But I'm really glad it didn't work out that way. That way, I could hear fully her perspective for an
Mhm.
hour and fully yours, which are really similar. But have an hour devoted to each of you, so that it really kind of worked out for the better, I think.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. All right, guys and gals.
Buddy.
I want to shout out real quick to Will Schmear. I don't know if y'all know Will. He just started a clothing line called Lovable Gazelle. This is his logo right here. He sent me some stickers after I ordered a shirt and a hat. So thank you, Will, for the cool sticker that is now on all my live streams. Um, I had some stickers made. If anybody wants any, let me know. Shoot me a DM. I'm going to the post office to get stamped envelopes this week. So I think that's it. Appreciate it. And y'all have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.